Thanks everyone for attending this. Actually, it's the first class of the year, and it's actually, in fact, the first ever Webinar Marketing 101 for Shakti Distributors, where you're going to learn how to grow PV with webinars in this free class. So I'm going to include a little bit about health chats as well, because they are webinars, also known as web meetings. And over the past 10 years, my marketing team has actually helped hundreds of Shakti distributors generate thousands of leads. I was just reviewing this with our Facebook marketing team, and in 2016, we helped Shakti distributors generate over 3,600 leads using Facebook alone. In fact, it was the official number they gave me was 3,627. So I was pretty excited about that. I used to think that that alone would skyrocket them to success, but it turns out that it was not enough to ensure success. Leads all by themselves. So the question is, what else do you need? So let's see who here's got an answer for that. Whose fingers are by the keyboard? What do you think we were missing? Because people were, you know, they were all happy they were getting leads, but there was sort of one number one complaint that we tended to get. And what do you think that might be? It starts with the letter C, this particular word, that after you get a lead, yes, you must follow up. Good for you, Ian. And what comes after follow-up? Yes, Pat King has got it. Douglas has got it. Kathy, George, Jasmine, and that is it. Conversion. That is right. Good for you. Mary, Preston. Good. Okay, well, you got the C part, Preston. Conversion is the word. Conversion is the word. So, but you know, committing to do something, then that can be conversion. So now if you don't know how to convert those leads into buyers or builders, you'll just have names and numbers but no sales or sponsoring. And this is the same whether you guys are going to a trade fair and you're getting people to give you their names for whatever reason, whatever their motivation is to give you that. If you can't get home and follow up and then convert those names into somebody that's actually buying something or joining, then, well, it's not that exciting anymore, right? All those leads, it's just a bunch of numbers on paper. So when we started helping people with their marketing, I was actually a bit perplexed when they said they weren't converting their leads. I was thinking, you know, what's the deal? Why are more people moving them across the finish line? And when I dug into the issue, I discovered the problem. And it was that their conversion activities were either too few or just flat out non-existent. I realized that without a conversion strategy in place, well, lead generation alone was just burning up their money. And this is when I realized the missing ingredient in the formula. Almost no one was inviting their leads to live events, to live webinars, or to physical events, by the way. It doesn't have to be live and on the internet. It's just some sort of a live event. Okay? And that event, by the way, could be a one-on-one, but predominantly, especially from a product focused lead, it's almost always going to be a live event with, you know, a bunch of people. Unlike the business, you want to narrow that down to one-on-ones as fast as possible. So you see, webinars are one of the best ways to convert a prospect or lead, and research has even shown that webinars can convert at over 20% compared to just email alone, which is a much lower conversion rate. So what was happening is our team was helping them capture all these leads, and then they were just sitting there on the sideline hoping that the email follow-ups that we wrote for you guys would convert alone, that would just be enough. The problem you have to realize is, see, most of your leads are cold. They don't know who you are. So and I can't write your follow-up emails to be personal because I've got to write them for a whole bunch of people at once. So it was, you know, we obviously struggle with being able to create that connection that if you had done it all yourself, would be able to create. But emails, again, emails alone, they just don't really move people across the finish line. And that's why Shakti has been a meeting business. You know, back in the day before email, people would have probably just as soon sent letters to people, right? But that didn't work either. So in the end, you had to get somebody to sit in front of you or either with you, or nowadays it's to sit and listen to you like you're listening to me now. So the trouble for most Shakti distributors, though, is that they don't really know the basics of doing webinars, so they just don't do them. And sadly, they feel stuck. And then they stay stuck. And it's a shame, really. So the part that I left off was as I was saying that a lot of people tend to stay stuck. They want to do health chats, web meetings, live events, but they just don't really know how to put it all together. So they stay stuck. And it's a shame, really, because I know how well webinars convert. In fact, when we started doing webinars, that's really what made a dramatic increase in our business. So it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be stuck. And who here feels stuck, by the way? Let's find out. Who here feels, you know webinars are a good idea, but it's like you can't get out of the starting gate. You don't know where to start. Nice to see you too, Sandy. Okay, yeah, the technology scares you. I mean, I remember when it was just coming to three-way calls, I had to practice that with my mom, where it's like, okay, I'll phone you and then I'll try this other number, So I understand how technology can make you feel paralyzed. Now, before we get going, I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be part of this special training class. I know your time is valuable, so I'll be sure to make this class worth your time. And I just spent about 15 minutes listening to another marketer on my Facebook timeline. And he was saying that direct marketing as we knew it is dead. And, I mean, obviously he's probably overemphasizing that, but what he was saying is that the new world of marketing is interactive marketing. And webinars fit right into that. So I just found it interesting. It was quite apropos to hear what he was saying, because webinars are interactive marketing, where people can type, they can be part of something, they can click. I mean, just think of how people tend to find us nowadays. In the old days, if somebody, say you received a sales letter, you had no other really way to go and research that. Now, you can just click a button and you're in Google, you're searching, you're here, you're there. We deal with a much different consumer base, a different market. So this class is for you if you're a distributor who has trouble getting customers to buy more and buy more often, if you struggle with converting leads, if you want another way to capture leads, if you'd like to learn how to do live webinars, if any of these apply to you, well, you're in the right place. And as a way of thanking you for staying to the end of this class, we'll be giving you a link to a helpful workbook that will allow you to review the content so that you can get the most out of this class after it's over. So you don't have to take notes. We're compressing everything that's in the PowerPoint, or at least the core points anyways, and then we put into a workbook for you, okay? So here's what you're going to learn by joining us tonight: why a distributor should consider doing webinars, how to find great presentations to use, how to set up and promote your event, when to start promoting, what types of webinars to do, plus much more. Now, when I say webinars, by the way, a health chat that you do using Zoom is a webinar, or also a web meeting. But I really see a web meeting as more of like you and a coach, or if you are the coach, you and your maybe two builders, or that's to me what a web meeting is. It's you guys are going back and forth having a chit chat. It's not you presenting to someone and then asking them to take some sort of an action. Okay, so whether you're using the Zoom webinar version or the meeting version is really irrelevant. The platform itself isn't the issue. It's the way in which you do it. And I think you'll learn more as I dig into this. So if you are new and you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Jody J. Stieg. I'm a tech and marketing advisor to Shackley Distributors. I'm also a former Shackley business builder, and, well, I'm a Shackley kid. I built my own Shackley business online by learning how to develop an online marketing system with the help of my parents, because when they started their business in the early 80s, they did it the old classic offline way, right? Inviting people to meetings, and then my parents started to struggle with getting people to meetings, so then they went out and did one-on-one presentations, and you name it, my parents have done it, and that's what I grew up in. So I grew up in that offline world. When the internet came around, well, we of course wanted to find new ways to make it all easier for us, right? Ways to get over some of the challenges that we dealt with. And one of the things that I learned when I was building was that I needed to do one-on-one presentations and webinar events to improve my sponsoring and get my leads over the fence to become customers. So now I've been doing webinars consistently every month, and they've made a huge difference in our business's growth, and I've helped other Shackley distributors do the same. So here's why I feel I'm qualified. You guys can beg to differ. I've been doing live webinars like this one for over 7 years. I've got over 15 years experience in technology and marketing. I've worked with hundreds of distributors to help them build online. I have a team of experts who help Shaklee distributors set up and run live events, and we also work closely with Shaklee Legal so that we stay on their good side. Let's put it that way. We know how to make sure we keep you guys out of trouble. So why use webinar marketing? Here's the question. And this is an important question to have an answer to, because if you don't really understand the core reasons, well, then you may not give this the focus that I feel you should. Okay? Because remember, like I said, we can help people get leads. But people are struggling with conversion in Shaklee, and there's a way to fix that. So there's actually 5 essential things to have success in Shaklee. We've got to talk about this first before we really mention webinars. So let's dig into this. Number 1, you need to be able to attract traffic to your websites. Now, by the way, this could also include a physical function. You need to be able to attract traffic if you're at a booth. You need to be able to attract human beings to you. If you're just, or connect with human beings, you're just walking around, one way or the other. You need to be able to get people to connect with you. And from an online perspective, you got to get them to come to your website. You need to be able to then capture the information of the people who visit your sites. You see, in this day and age of marketing, remember how I said that this gentleman was saying that, by the way, and this gentleman has done over, what did he say, 100 and something million in sales in digital marketing. So I'm assuming he knows his stuff. Was sharing that things are changing. And we can't quite go for the, go for the gusto like we used to be able to do, because, see, now we have so many more tools in front of us that will allow us to take our time to be able to connect with somebody, build a relationship, follow up, and convert them later. So there's not a big rush to be able to get someone across the fence, and that's why we want to capture the information so we can follow up over time. You need to be able to then, of course, follow up with your leads via phone, via Facebook messages, via emails, via text messages. There's a variety of ways of doing it. Somehow you got to follow up to get them to this next stage where you can convert them into buyers or builders. That's where they decide to sponsor and buy something, or just flat out buy something, or sponsor and join your team. Now, once they do that, if they join your team, you've got to educate your builders to copy your process. And if they join as a customer, you need to educate them about the value of the product so that they'll continue to buy that product and hopefully buy more. So these are the 5 essential things that you've got to be good at in Shaklee. Now, webinars can actually help you with 3 of the 5 essential activities I just covered. So webinars help you with capturing leads, they help you convert those leads, and they help you educate everyone who attends. So they help you educate your customers, they help you educate your builders. So that's why, for me, this is such a crucial component. I don't really think anything from a marketing perspective covers as much ground as a live web event. So they're also unbelievably efficient and cost effective. So from a customer perspective, buying behaviors are changing. People want to be more informed before they buy, but the challenge is getting and keeping their attention. And this is the big one. While I was brushing my teeth just before I was about to do the webinars, I was just thinking of different ways I could share this information to help you guys get it, especially if you've heard me talk about something like this before. And actually, the thing to keep thinking and asking yourself is, okay, well, what's network marketing? Well, it's all about marketing through a network, meaning a group of people that you know. Well, what happens once you run out of the people you know? Well, you have to build the network, and now they're total strangers. Why should a total stranger give you their attention? And that's actually one of the most difficult parts of network marketing, is getting people's attention. See, people want to hear from you live and in person. Again, this is an interactive day and age. People are used to doing things differently. They don't want to be marketed to in the same way that they used to be. The challenge in today's fast-paced world, though, is that it's harder than ever to get people to live in-homes and physical events. Now, I mean, maybe I'm out of touch on this, but who's having this issue? Share with me. Is there anybody here who's struggling to get people to live physical events? You used to be able to fill a giant room with people coming over to your house every night, and now it's like, it's like pulling teeth. So Mary is Maura, Susan, Pat, Phyllis, Joe, Debbie. Okay, Kathy, her home's in Timbuktu. There you go. I know Sandy Sargent, she's out by the lake with the bears, so most of her prospects get eaten on the way in. Karen, Jasmine, Sue. And by the way, I'm not saying that means you should just give up. And I'm not by any means beating up on physical events, okay? Because, you know, a live event is a live event, whether it's over the web or whether it's physical, whatever. To me, it's all about getting live events, right? Of course, my expertise is digital, so that's going to be that's sort of tends to where I go. But there's nothing that can replace, you know, that physical connection. But sometimes it's difficult, especially if you're doing things on a regular basis. You know, like a once-a-month gig, it's not that hard to get people to show up. But if you're asking someone to come on a weekly basis, which is what you really need to maintain momentum in network marketing, especially from a business builder perspective, it's tough. And webinars can solve that challenge. Kathy, she's got coyotes and bears, snapping turtles and turkeys. There you go. Wow. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, isn't that what it is? Something like that. Kathy's, what do you got, a zoo? they got to go through to get to your place. So Kathy is a perfect person for having digital events. Webinars are really perfect for connecting and educating leads as well as your existing group, without the costs, hassle, and limitations that come with live in-person events. Okay, again, not beaten down on the live in-person events, but this is the upside to that. The problem for most Shaklee distributors, though, is that they just have no blueprint to follow for setting up and executing great webinars, nor do they have the access to the compelling presentations needed beyond the health chats that Shaklee offers. So, I mean, it's good that Shaklee did come out with health chats, but they don't have that many, and health chats, I believe, are just better suited for your existing customer base because they lead with Shaklee first and then helpful info second. For non-Shaklee members especially, we prefer to follow the formula, which is really the majority of internet marketers, what they recommend, and that is to lead with content, meaning just, you know, valuable information, and then pitch at the end, transition. And, you know, your pitch doesn't have to be a hard pitch either. It could be just sort of sharing something you recommend and pointing out where they could find the thing that you're talking about. A perfect example would be Mary Ellen. We just helped her build a presentation where she talked about the amazing powers of green tea. Well, at the end, she needs to link that to if you're interested in the best kind of green tea that I can recommend, try this. It comes with Shaklee 180. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. So imagine, if you could, I'd like to take your mind to another place for a minute. Not only would it be sweet to be on this beach right now, but imagine having a way to present the business opportunity or the products an unlimited number of times with people anywhere in the world, anytime you want. One of the beautiful things with webinars, it doesn't matter what kind of car you've got, so you don't have to pull up, you know, to someone's house in your beater car because maybe you don't make much money yet in the business, so you don't have much to show that you're like me. You know, I was just a store manager and I drove my little beater Corolla, and I know from experience, because I remember a lady saying to me, well, if you're so successful, then why are you driving that car? And I wasn't there to profess how successful I was. I was just sharing an opportunity, but I got to tell you, it sort of deflates your balloon. Well, that's the first thing they say to you. Webinars allow you to, you know, level the playing field. If you're a good communicator, it doesn't matter what clothes you have or what your house is like, right? You don't have to worry about putting on your knickers or doing anything special or making popcorn for everybody and all the things that you used to do. My mom used to kick us out of the house every Wednesday so that, you know, she could get the house ready because all these strange people were coming in. So now, if you could teach this system, though, to your builders, do you think they could make more money in the business? So not only are you learning to do a weekly webinar event, maybe you're doing it more than that. Because maybe you've got some people that you're doing it for in the morning and some people you're doing it at night in different locations of North America or whatever. But the neat thing is it's not just about you. It's about you teaching other people to do the same thing. So webinars will allow you to build your business, make money, and build your downline like never before when combined with an email marketing system, a prospecting process, and effective training program. And this is an essential part of this. Webinars all by themselves are not quite enough. because you need a way to invite people to your webinar. You need to follow up with people after the webinar. So email marketing is a crucial element of that. Social media plays into that because that's part of how you promote your webinars, and so on. So once you start doing webinars on a regular basis, really your business will never be the same. Is there anybody here, by the way, let's take a poll and find this out. So go ahead, poll master. I will not touch the polls today, so I won't ruin them like last week. Have you ever put on a live webinar? So let's go ahead and answer my poll if you could. It's either yes or not yet, because I'm giving you some leeway that maybe you're into it. So go ahead and just put in your vote, yes or not yet. All right, so 24% of you so far are in the yes category. Good for you. 80% of you have voted already. You guys are fast. You're by the keyboards. I appreciate that. We'll just give you another couple seconds to vote. I think we're actually pretty good. 86% of you have voted. So let's go ahead and close the polls out, Marianne, and share those results. All right, so 29%, how about that, are a yes. So good for you to you 29%ers. And then 71% not yet. All right, so go ahead and hide that for me, Marianne, and we'll truck along. All right, so the question is, well, what kind of webinars to do? And now you already obviously know about health chats. And go ahead, type in there and say if you've ever done a health chat. So just say, I have done a health chat, if you have in fact done that. So not sure if it was considered a webinar. We'll get Sandy. This is how it would be considered a webinar, is if they came to your Zoom meeting and you had a bunch of people show up, and then you talked about something, you presented with some slides, and then at the end you closed it off and maybe you asked them to take some sort of an action, which is to sign up for something else. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe if you didn't do any call to action, you just simply presented and then called it a day. And that's also a webinar. So Ellen has done Zoom health chats, okay. George Wootan is in health chats. Yeah, we definitely know you've been doing them. You've been doing them long before George has been doing them for quite a while. Zenobia, yes, but without attendance. Okay, well, let's say that's a good practice start. Denise, not yet. I have some scheduled 2K. Okay, got it. Okay, Diane for health prints. All right. Now, by the way, if you're doing a kind of like a recap with a health print where somebody has filled out a health print and then you want to review the results with them, we're going to call that a web meeting, not a webinar, okay? Which, by the way, is valuable, but it's not the same. A webinar is going to be you present to people. There's no real interaction from them other than them typing back to you, but you definitely pretty much almost rarely open the line for them to talk, unlike a web meeting where it's kind of like you're all talking together like that, just to be clear on that, okay? So there are a few angles that you could approach when doing webinars, and here are a few. Number one, educating your new existing builders. Number two, helping people discover the products, so non and new members, helping them discover the products. You could do webinars to educate people and then pitch the products. You could educate and then pitch the business opportunity. So you see how you can do educating your new existing builders. There's really not much pitch other than maybe you're going to, at the end, have a call to action, getting them to sign up for one of your groups or to subscribe to your YouTube channel, which, by the way, Marianne, can you remind me? And actually, at the end of this, I want to put in our YouTube. I want more people to sign up for our YouTube channel so that when I'm popping in videos, you're going to get little notifications. I've signed up for several network marketing gurus, and now when they put in a new video, I get a notification letting me know that they've done that, and then I can watch their video if I choose to. And I want to make sure you guys know how to see our videos when we put them up so that you are also tightly connected to us, and then you're learning from that so that you will also consider asking your people that are following you to subscribe to your video channel so that when you pop up a new video, they know that it's there. And you know what you do? It's simple. You make a Facebook Live video. You talk, a couple minutes, up to maybe 10 minutes or something like that if you want to go that long, about a particular topic that excites you or that you feel people need to know about. And then all you do is you just download that video, upload that into YouTube, and there you go. Now you've got a video not only in your Facebook feed, but also in YouTube. So you don't have to do things twice. Okay, so all right, let's talk about how to set up and promote your webinars. So setting up and promoting your webinars has several key stages. It starts by planning when you'll do the events in your marketing calendar. So that's the key. Let me show you guys quickly what that would look like. I'm going to go to my free templates that we make for you guys in OneNote, and I'll show you here. So we go here to our year at a glance. And the first thing that I do is at the beginning of the year, I figure out the categories that I want to deal with per month. Okay? So it's like this. So, and in fact, we've already started this. We have webinars in the bag for you if you had wanted to do them for both brain health and for 180. We don't have anything that's just about men's health per se, but we do for 180. So we're going to have to come up with something for sports. If we don't, I got to look at my tickle trunk. I don't think we have anything, but okay. So you can see this is our content strategy for this year, and this is actually what we're putting in your back offices. So we're putting in your email marketing system for templates. We're also putting this in your wellness center. For those of you that don't even know what I'm talking about when I mention your wellness center, you can let me know at the end and I'll show you again. Okay, so it starts with that. So you figure out your top level view, and then you move down here to your calendar, and then you actually start breaking it down what you're going to do in that particular month. So you need to know when you're going to start your promotion, if there is a promotion, and Shackley now seems to have one almost every month. So you need to put in when the promotion starts, when your marketing starts for whatever webinar you're going to do. Then you want to list when you want to send your emails so that you get enough people to that event. And then you also want to list your follow-up emails and any other assets you're going to put into place, such as blog posts, say Facebook posts, social posts, things like that. If you don't use OneNote, Margaret, then, oh, that's a good question. Just use a Google Calendar then, Margaret. That's fine too. The reason we prefer OneNote is it's so visual. A Google Calendar, things are kind of hidden in there, but they're still great too. So, or you could make a calendar, just use a hard copy calendar if you want. Okay. So again, it all starts by planning when you're going to do the events in your calendar. So for us, this event that I'm doing right now, we planned this 6 months ago. So we already knew that we were going to do this class a long time ago, and then that way we can put everything all together. So we know when to do which classes and when to promote certain things. And to be honest, it didn't start that way. I was not that organized. We had to evolve into that, and you will evolve in that too. You just have to know that you want that, and then you just start chipping away at it. And it may not happen this year. Maybe this year you're not ready for it, and it's not till next year that finally things start to come together for you, because maybe you're still living in a land of disorganization and things are a bit crazy. So, I don't know. Let's find out. Who lives in that land right now? The land of Oz, yeah. Who lives in the land of, like, your life is pretty bonkers, and this seems kind of like a bit of a pipe dream in a way when it comes to actually being organized enough to figure out what you're doing in 3 months from now. And you know what? It's okay to admit that. So for you, you might only know what you're doing like a month in advance. That's like as good as you can get it. And if that's the case, then hey, so be it. But at least you know this is where you want to get to eventually, and you just try your best. That's all, you know, all anyone could ask for, right? So let's talk about the workflow of what it would take to put on a webinar. So it starts by writing the pages that you'd use to get people to register. Now, by the way, if you're doing Zoom meetings alone or webinars, there's actually a registration function in there. I don't have time to show you tonight, but you can actually just use a very simple registration page so that you can see who registers for your Zoom meetings. Then you need to write the presentation, unless you're, you know, if you don't want to use ours. Then you need to write the emails if you don't want to use the emails that we've written for the presentations we've built for you. And then you need to write the promo assets. So you got to write all that, okay? So for those of you that want to use a presentation that we don't already have, then this is what you've got to write, okay? Now let me say this while it's on my mind. For those of you that have attended our Webinar Marketing Academy, and I will mention this again, because you'll know how to write in a proper format. If you write, and my team will design, you write, my team will design, as long as I can share that with all Shackley distributors. Okay? If you won't let me share it with anyone, then I will charge you per hour for that. But if I can share it, if it's a good PowerPoint, and I can share it with other people, we can put it in our file cabinet, then we will do the design for you, which will, trust me, save your life. But if you are so eager and you've got the chops for it, then once you write all that stuff, then you've got to design all that stuff. So you've got to design the web pages, presentation, emails, and the promotional assets. Then you need to develop them. So now some of it, for example, you need to develop the web page. That's more of a coding perspective. The presentations, that's once you've designed it, you've designed it. So emails, that does need developing because you got to put in the HTML code for that. And then the promo assets, that is more of a NA for promo assets. So Shade will just make a note of that on those two things. Those actually, there's no developing for presentations and promo assets, but then you got to deploy them, right? So you've got to make sure that your web pages are live. You've got to then make sure your presentation is ready for you to use. You've got to make sure that your emails are sent. Well, I shouldn't say sent. They're uploaded into your email marketing system, and then you've got to make sure that all of your Facebook posts, your pins, your LinkedIn things are all ready to be shipped, okay? And then you got to promote them. So then finally, you need to actually send the emails. You got to send the pins, send the posts. That's the final part of the job. Now, again, I want to remind you guys that I want to put my team to work because, see, a lot of you, well, let's face it, I'm only one guy, so there's only one of me writing this stuff. So, and I don't have much time in a day anymore because between coaching, between doing webinars, between finding new staff for my team and managing this business, I don't have much time to create presentations. So if you guys will write the content, just write it like a script. Just write it like you're going to speak to your friend, and you ship us that, and we convert it into an awesome presentation. We'll help you build all this stuff. And again, those of you on the Webinar Marketing Academy, you alumni, would get priority. Okay, after all your assets are live and you've promoted them, then it's time to go live. It's time to put on your webinar and get it going. Now, by the way, if you're doing a health chat, obviously you don't have to worry. There's no web pages that match with that. So you might wonder, well, what do I need a web page for? Well, the problem is if you don't have some sort of a web page, there's no place for people to register. And if they're not registering for your webinars, then you're not building your email list, and you are really missing out on one of the big parts of having or doing webinars. You want to build your list. You want names in the tank so that you can email them again and invite them to come back to your next event. Or it's like sand that falls through your hands because every time someone shows up to the help chat, the only way you can invite them back is either to phone them or to, hopefully they'll see your message in Facebook. And Facebook controls how many people see your messages. Okay, so then of course you've got to pull all the event assets, take them all down, and then post your replay on your blog. And that's something that I did for, and let me show you here quickly. This is something that I've done for Phyllis Schneider. Let's see here. And I'm also now teaching my team to do this as part of our new VA service that I'm going to talk about in a minute. So let me just scoot over here, and I'm on Phyllis's site. So what we've done is we went into Phyllis's blog because she has a Freedom blog. And then you'll notice we've added a category called health chat. So go ahead and type that out. Can you guys see that category there where I just highlighted that at the top? So then what's going to happen is, because she does them every week, and she actually does not only health chats, but she also does business training calls. So we added both. We added business calls and health chats for her. And you can see here she's only got one in the bag. So Phyllis needs more help. But you can see, there you go, you'll get an idea of what it looks like. And so we've got a nice image in there, we've got some text, and then you can click here and that'll go to her Zoom. Now better is where we actually upload the replay into YouTube, and then when we post the link, it'll look like this. So let me show you Tony's that we started to do, but we didn't finish because Tony is actually getting us to do, she's actually hiring us, one of our team, to be a virtual assistant for her, so they'll do it for her because she's quite busy in her growing, thriving business. So let me show you an example of that. So in Tony's case, we went to her, and you'll see what that would look like. So we put in one called the Power of Protein. So all the chats they did earlier in the year, and we built these PowerPoints for her. All of these that are there, you can see. So this is an example. Now I just showed her what it would look like having a video in there. This actually isn't the proper video. We need to actually upload. She needed to upload this into YouTube, and there was a bit of an issue because it was her first time ever using YouTube, and we haven't got back to help her. So, but anyways, the visual is exactly the same. So does that make sense, everyone? Who just say yes if you've got it. So you do your webinar, and then you're going to post your replay in your blog. Does that make sense? Now, obviously, the technicalities of how that gets done, I don't have time to cover tonight, but that's what you want a virtual assistant doing for you, by the way, or you need us to teach you if you don't want someone else to do it for you. So if you've got a thriving, growing business, or you've got a starting business, but you've got the finances to be able to have someone else do it for you, I recommend that. Outsource, let them do these kind of repetitive tasks, and then you focus on the things that they cannot do, right? Which is meeting people, talking to people, coaching, and training. So now, if your event, by the way, supports a promotion, so for example, you were doing a 180 because you wanted to promote like the 180 part 2 that Shackley's got on right now, well, then you're going to want to make sure you send your last chance emails to remind people that, hey, we're coming to a close, this is your last chance to buy tra-la-la-la-la, right? And a lot of people, that's where they drop the ball. They do a health chat, and then that's it. They don't follow up and let people know that, hey, just what I talked about last week, it's like coming to an end, or, you know, Sally Sue just bought one, and this is the result she had, so if you're still on the fence, you might want to think about it. And now, everything I've just shown you, to be honest, is pretty much a job for your VA or a design team, with exception of the writing of the presentation itself. And if you're a decent enough writer, then that's, you know, especially if you want to use things that we don't already have for you, then that's kind of where you want to go with that. So let's just quickly go live, and I just want to show you guys the presentations that we offer, and also how to get help setting up your events. Okay, so I'm just going to actually hop inside our back office. So those of you that are not familiar with this, we have a what's called a back office, and this is where this is connected to our contact manager, the email marketing module, and all the things that you can use to market your Shackley business and to follow up, and our classrooms and all that. But all I'm going to cover today is our file cabinet. Now, our file cabinet doesn't have the presentations in here yet. Well, it has some of them, but it doesn't have all of them, because I've got a new batch of them that are coming, and I'll be explaining that in a moment. So you go here to file cabinet, you come over here to presentations, and then you will see, there we go. So this is what we have live at this very moment. The 7 Big Secrets to Losing Weight, 7 Ways to Improve Memory, and these were the 2 categories that we covered in June. You'll find emails match this, as well as articles inside your wellness center. Okay? So here's how you can find it, and then now let me show you what's coming as well. So I'm going to go here to my online tools. And this was in great help, by the way, to Maura McCabe and to Mary Ellen Alexander and to Allison Sugarman and to Tony Banner and to a bunch of other business builders. They wrote the text. They sent it to us. We did the designs, and now these are all the presentations that we have. So these are all the webinars that will be the new ones. Benefits of sleep, digestive health, natural allergy solutions, a simple guide to exercise, stress, and I'm sure we're going to come up with a better name than that. We've already got the 7 Big Secrets to Losing Weight, the amazing powers of green tea, the benefits of cleansing, the power of protein. Maura did an awesome job on that. The vitamin checklist, we built that. The toxic brew, which will be coming, nobody's done that one yet. What your doctor wasn't taught about nutrition in med school that you need to know, and then 10 tips for healing hormones. So I'll just show you this one quickly because this is our most recent one, and that is the amazing powers of green tea. So let me open this up and you guys can have a quick peek at it. Just so you can kind of get a visual of what it is that I'm talking about. And so you can see Mary Ellen wrote, you know, it's really nice and it's very short and sweet, 23 slides, so this is something you can do in less than 30 minutes. And then at the end, she links this to Shackley Energizing Tea. So she says, the tea that I'm using and recommend is the Shackley 180 Energizing Tea, and, you know, da-da-da-da, just goes right into it. And then, of course, at the end, what you'd want to do is you'd want to then scoot over and then take them to your Shackley personal website. So you'd want that link ready so that you could show them exactly how they could buy it if they chose to. And, you know, no pressure, but if they're interested in shopping now, here's how to do it. And then, of course, because you've already got their names in your email marketing system, because they registered, guess what? Now you can send follow-up emails reminding them, you know, if there was a promo's coming to an end, or to share some extra, you know, tidbits, because not everybody's ready to buy the moment they see something, even though they like the idea. Maybe they like the idea, but their money is already allocated somewhere else. So there we go. And where did my presentation go? It disappeared on me. One sec. I gotta get. There we go. Okay. Kathy says, can we also use those PowerPoints in bobsfiles.net? Sure, as long as he has no problem with it, which I don't think he does. Then absolutely, yes. There is many other places to use them. Just be careful. As I will say this: don't send those to us to just redo for you, because those people sometimes get fussy about that. We did have somebody who sent us a PowerPoint presentation that they had grabbed from one of those websites out there, and then the people took issue with that. So yeah, so that's what I'll say about that. My recommendation, to be honest, I gotta say this. This is just my personal opinion, because I'm a graphic designer. Well, I'm not a graphic designer, but I'm a design. I've got an eye for design. Let me put it that way. It's pretty much all the PowerPoint presentations that I see that are not done by a professional design team. They don't look very good. The images are horrible. They're blurry. I don't find them that professional. I would just recommend you let us do it, or get a designer in your house to do it. You know, I mean, Shackley's got this amazing product, and then I think we somewhat weaken that a little bit with a very poorly designed presentation. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, maybe I'm just fussy, and of course I'm a bit biased because my team makes these, but I mean, when you guys see a presentation that's hacked together and the images are all like, you know, not so nice versus one that's like, you know, beautiful, what do you think? And I'm not trying to put them down because they're doing the best they can with what they've got, and I got to tell you, my original presentations look terrible. So, you know, it is what it is, but as Shirley is saying, we compete with the best on the internet, so we have to be outstanding. Yes, Debbie, correct. No clip art. So that's kind of my thing is let's not sort of make it tacky. Shackley's got these amazing products with these beautiful graphics on their products, and then we throw out these presentations that, yeah, just don't do it. So don't do it for, you know, don't do it justice is the word that I'm saying. Okay? Yeah. So let's do a poll quickly, if we could. Back to the polls. After seeing this webinar, how likely are you to consider using webinar marketing for your Shackley business if you weren't already? So, of course, we've got one option, which is I'm already using it. I will definitely start using it. I will think about it. I use something else, and I'm happy with that, and I have no plans to use it. So go ahead and put that out there. And Sue, you know what? I'm with you there. Anything is better than nothing, but professional is way more intriguing, yes. Sometimes you just got to start where you are. Yes, 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 I will agree. But my thing would be this. Let's take that stuff that's already out there and run it through the design mill so that we're pumping out some beautiful presentations so that you guys have a nice back office that we can offer you where you've got 20, 30 presentations. You don't need a zillion presentations. You need some really good ones that you do over and over and over. Remember, good old, who was that who said that? Don't change the meeting, change the people. That's the key. You know, a lot of times we'll have 10 different presentations and I have someone who wants another one, and I'm like, well, why don't you just use the 10 we've already got? If you haven't used those, use what's already there first. So, so by the way, Maura, I think we're going to have to rope you in as one of our writers because Maura did an amazing job on her PowerPoint. Okay, so let's see, how are we doing on our, okay, let's close the poll. 92% of you voted. Amazing, well done. I totally appreciate you for doing that. So 16%, I'm already using it. 52%, I will definitely start. 32, I will think about it. And so nobody's in the I'm using it, no, and I have no plans to use it. So good for you, everyone. You're either already doing it or you're on the fence to move in that direction. Sandy says, sometimes we want to focus on something and there may not be there to use. And you know what? I'm with you there, Sandy. I'm with you there. And I'm just putting it out there real strong for everybody that we want to give you something so that when you want, to me, I was thinking of this today, it's like we got to make this the year of events where my team is ready. We can, you know, I mean, we can't always do them as fast as you ask them. If we've got a big lineup of people all wanting different things, well, I've only got a few designers, so we have to take it bit by bit. But if you guys can feed me with content I am very happy to plow out presentations because, you know, I'm 100% committed to making sure you've got the content you need to do your events because I know how incredibly important they are. And I know you can't design them all by yourselves because I can't either. And it's too slow. So in tonight's class, I was really only able to lay out the basics of webinar marketing. But if you'd like to learn everything you need to know to use webinar marketing for your Shaklee business, I'd like to invite you to join our upcoming Webinar Marketing Academy. And one of the special things that I'm going to do for you guys, for those of you that join the Academy, is I'm going to help you to figure out how to write using a simple template that we have, okay, so that you can write content. You'll just fill in the template I've already designed for you using a tool called OneNote. And that's all you have to do. No images, no nothing. You will just write the text, deliver it to us, and we will do the design for you. And that's what I'm going to be doing in the Webinar Marketing Academy that I was not able to do last year. So now you might wonder, well, why join the Webinar Marketing Academy? Well, that's one big reason, is that we're not just going to teach you how to do webinars and then leave you hanging. We are going to work with you to actually put on the webinars that we have in the back office. And if you have an idea and you're willing to write it, I will show you the formula where you just fill in the blanks, and then we will be the ones who takes your PowerPoint and design it. And Maura said that my formula definitely helped her. Thank you for sharing that, Maura. And Julie Aldridge is asking, do I need a blog? No, you do not, Julie. The blog is just helpful for you, Julie, if you want to place, it's like a central place where you can post all of your replays, but you could do that on YouTube and not have a blog. So no, you definitely don't need it for that. Ellie says, sometimes I have used just a portion of a presentation for a very focused presentation with one person. Yes, that exists as well, Ellie, thank you. Phyllis Hughes says we need something for children. Actually, you know what, we do. Denise, if I remember correctly, Williams had us design something for children last year. And that was a nice presentation that we designed. There was a lot to that. Margaret says, where do I get OneNote? Is it an app like Evernote? Yes, it is. It's an app like Evernote. That's correct. I don't want to get into that. You'll want to go and look at my OneNote OneNote 101, I think is what it is. Anyways, I got a free webinar that'll teach you about using OneNote Peg in the training center, okay? So it's proven, again, that webinars can improve sales and sponsoring. There's no doubt about that. The problem for most Shaklee distributors is that they have no blueprint for creating and doing webinars. Or, like what I'm hearing, you guys actually want to cover a specific topic, but you don't have a PowerPoint presentation for that. So this course will give you the blueprint you need, and it's been designed exclusively for you guys in Shaklee. So in this live 6-session series, we're going to cover everything you need to know to increase sponsoring and PV with webinar marketing. You'll learn everything from how to create great presentations to setting up and promoting your event and more. So let's just go into a little more detail of what you're going to learn. You're going to learn types of webinars you can do and why, how to create great presentations that teach, sell, and convert, which is the big one, how to choose the right webinar platform. I'm going to talk about Zoom, GoToWebinar. I'm going to talk about a whole ton of them. I've gone through a whole list, and I will explain the differences and why we finally decided on Zoom and why you may consider another if you want to, how to set up your webinar event, how to promote your event, and how to get high attendance. I will also go into basics of how to use Zoom so that you won't have any fear of striking up your first web meeting or webinar. We're also going to talk about how to wrap up your event and follow up for the best results. So here's more detail about the modules. So week 1, we're going to cover the business challenges webinars solve, a brief history of webinar marketing, why you guys should use it, the 7 keys for success using webinars. And this is a fundamental sort of the pillars of what it takes to win with webinars, which is important to know, and then again, which platforms to use. And then week 2, now we're going to move into presentations so that those of you that actually want to work with us to create presentations, and I'm not talking about the design work, you're going to know how to lay out the content, themes, and templates, how to write the hook, how to include your story, how to write the core, the pitch. So you will understand some of the basics of using PowerPoint, but I certainly do not expect you to actually go and do much with it. It is nice to know the basics because even tonight, well, this morning for me, I actually had to monkey around with this PowerPoint a little bit before it was ready for you guys. There was a couple slides missing, and so it is still nice to know some of the basics of PowerPoint. Even if we create you something, you might want to modify something, you'll learn that. Okay? And then in session 3, we're going to talk about then setting up and promoting the event. We're going to talk about what kind of graphics and assets to use, where to promote your event, how to deploy your promotional assets. And then number 4, week 4, we're going to go live. So this is when you're going to learn to actually give a great webinar. You're going to learn how to remind attendees to join, how to welcome your attendees, how to present with power, getting audience engagement, doing polls and using the whiteboard, as Zoom offers that if you're using the meeting function. And actually the webinar function also has the whiteboard, calling them to action. And then finally, we're going to talk about after webinar follow-up in week 5. So you're going to learn what to do after you've done the webinar. And this is crucial. How and when to follow up with your attendees. How to review what worked and what didn't so that you may make some changes in your future webinars. How to do a post-mortem. And then in session 6, this is when we're going to do a practice and review. So those of you that are actually courageous enough, you're going to take turns being a presenter, and we will review and recap. And then we'll have a QA so that you guys have your sort of final chance to get any questions that maybe you hadn't had answered throughout the class answered, and etc. So now it comes with some great bonuses as well. You'll have unlimited access to replay videos, a detailed workbook for each session where it applies, webinar checklists. You're also going to have access to the Facebook marketing group, and I didn't even have it listed in here, but I'm going to ask them to add this, and that is my template. I actually have a PowerPoint template that's it's in Google Slides so that you'll all have access to it. And what it does, I'm going to also add to it in OneNote so that you don't even have to worry about the PowerPoint version, is those of you that want to actually build your own PowerPoints and you don't want us to design them for you, I have it laid out, how the chapters break up. I've got all that set up for you, so you just fill in the blanks, and that's the crucial element. And it's exactly what I use for every webinar and course I create. So all my subheadings are set. I know exactly where I fill it in. I've got the system and formula in place because I've done this so many times. I don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. I just want to get down to business. So you'll also have access to the presentations that we have in the file cabinet that you can use for your webinars that I just showed you earlier. Okay, so I'll be having the team add them. Some tweaks have to be made because some of those PowerPoints still have some of the stories of the people who originally created them. We need to weed those out and then put them inside the system, but you'll have access to that. Now, you can't see this in this version, but we actually have webinar registration pages made for all the webinars that we currently have live now. These 5 presentations, we have webinar registration pages for them, and my team will be able to help you to set up your event, okay? And as long as you're not asking for anything outside of what we've already got, then the team, for those of you on the Webinar Marketing Academy, we won't charge you to help you with that, okay? So, for me, I want to get you out of the gate where you're actually in the role of doing events. And if you can do an event once a month minimum, preferably once a week, you're off to the races. Here's just a screenshot of just some of the what they look like when they're going to be inside your back office. So after investing in our 6-session training series, you'll be able to create great presentations that teach, sell, and convert. If you want to create them, you'll at least know how to access ours and how to write your own to let us design them for you. You'll be able to set up your webinar events with ease. You'll be able to use highly effective strategies to promote your webinar, give a great webinar that makes you look like a pro, wrap up your event with style, follow up with your attendees for the best results, and do a simple post-mortem so you'll know how it worked and what to tweak. So you're really going to know exactly how to set up your events, promote them, and then give great webinars that teach, sell, and convert. So you'll really be set up to win. What I love about webinars is you can quickly see a return on your small investment as soon as you put what you learn into practice, especially if you already have an organization, a group that are following you or any kind of an audience so that they'll actually start attending right away. So who's it for? Well, it's for beginners in Shaklee, intermediate, or experts. I can guarantee you, I'm sure I can teach you something. Even if you've already been doing health chats for quite a while, there is something that I can share with you if you need to know it. There's not too many questions come at me that stump me because I live and breathe this every day, and I also have a team that I can tap into, and I also work with so many of you. So that really gives me a lot of access to information that I can share with you. Now, we also bring to this a satisfaction guaranteed badge. I don't know how to put that, but if you're not able to attend, or it's just maybe not a fit for you at this time, you'll have 7 days after you purchase the course to request an exchange of an equal or lesser value product or service. So investing in the skills needed to improve your marketing efforts, they really can pay you dividends for years to come. You'll have everything you need to create a powerful webinar marketing strategy. So here's the classes there again, just a quick review. Here's the bonuses. Well, let's just pause it for one quick second. You'll be able to see that on the page as well. So watch your PV and sponsoring grow the same day you start doing your webinars for your Shackley business. I mean, it truly is the same. If you've got people that know, like, and trust you already, you could ask them to, you can transition and pitch at the end of your first webinar and have people purchasing right then and there. I'd like to find out who here has actually had somebody buy on any of your webinars, where at the end you transitioned to explain the value of the products and someone bought either right then and there or the next day, and you were pretty sure it was Ellie, and I was just thinking of you. I know Ellie did the 7 ways to improve memory. She had that. Who else has had that? And by the way, it's not going to happen on every webinar. You're going to pitch, and sometimes people will buy nothing. But you just never know. You will often have put a little, a seed. You planted a seed in their mind, and then they might buy 6 months from now, and you don't know that that may have been where it came from. George, Dr. George, has had someone buy. Yes, thank you, Peg. There's a spelling on slide 68. I thought I caught that actually. Watch. It's a special Australian version of watch. View schedule. So it's going to start next Thursday. Thanks, Pegs. We do not mind you guys either when you share, when you've got your eagle eyes out and you help us fix things. We never have a problem with that. We always appreciate that. So it's actually starting next Thursday. So how about that? There we go. So 1 week from today, you will be joining me, and we're going to have 6 weeks of good times. And this is what's cool. It's going to lead right up, and I designed it this way. We're going to lead you right into the Shackley conference. So you'll be able to just finish this material. You'll be perfectly positioned to go to the global conference and to come back and start putting on web events for one, you can start sharing what you learned at the conference. That might be your first webinar. There's just a lot of different ways you can go about that. So you'd normally pay $247 to join, but if you buy today, you'll save $50 and get it for just $197. So here's the link to join if you're interested. The promo ends June 28th, and my lovely assistant Mary Ann is going to, my marketing manager, sorry, I can't call her my assistant. She's more like my boss. She's going to give you the link there. So now, if you're an alumni, yes, Maura, we always give you alumni a deal. So you are going to save $180, I believe is what it is, and you're going to get alumni pricing. It's normally $77. Join again for another round and enjoy a special webinar pricing. So it'll normally be $77, but you're going to save $10 more, and you're going to get it for $67. So we make it real easy for you to come back for another round. So those of you that were attended with us last year, as we haven't done this is the first time again this year we put this on. So come on back. And of course, as you know, it'll be different than the first year because now we'll be talking more about health chats. We didn't deal with that then. We are far more prepared now to deal with offering you more help than we could have with actually putting on your events and more events we can share with you and so forth. So if you're an alumni, here's how to get it. You just got to log into your course manager to access your special pricing. Okay, so you'll see the details here. You just go up there, put your name, hover over your name. You'll see the drop down. It says My Courses, and then that'll take you to your course manager. Now, if I could, I'd like to offer something that we are now doing with every course. My kind of layout for this is first I want to teach you guys in a group environment, so I lay out the groundwork for you. But I know most of you then need one-on-one help. So that's why we have created one-on-one coaching for every one of our topics. And that is because, again, once you're done, I just don't want to leave you reeling with all this information in your brain and now you don't know where to take it. We want to make sure that we get someone with you who's right then and there, be able to answer your questions in a safe one-on-one environment, and coaching sessions are the best answer for this. Another nice thing about coaching sessions is it forces you to get in the gear. Your life is quite busy, right? You've got a lot of different things pulling at you, but when you've got someone phoning you up saying like at 7 o'clock, we're on, are you going to be there? You will make time for that in a way like you normally wouldn't. Anybody here ever gone to the gym and had a personal coach? It's different, right? Because they phone you up. Hey, you coming in? It really helps with that. So that's why I created special coaching for this. So you're going to have 4 one-on-one calls with one of our expert coaches that'll last about an hour to help you get your webinar set up even faster. So they'll be right there with you using remote desktop to just to help you with the little details and questions that are unique to you and your business. Coach Dr. George, him and I have had a lot of coaching sessions together, and maybe George, you could share how did that help you ramp up your kind of springboard into the system and getting going. And anybody else who's been on my coaching, Maura McCabe is another one. Share with me if you could. So with this onboarding service, your coaching elf will help you select the presentations from the ones that we offer. Make sure that you know how to activate your webinar registration page. They're going to help you really to get your first webinar going where you're not left all by yourself trying to figure this stuff out. They'll help you set up your Zoom and get all that ready, get your invitation emails scheduled. If they can't give you the answer, they've got our whole team to dig in and get back to you. So you've got someone right there with you. They'll help you schedule your posts, anything else that you need to ensure you know how to set up and deploy a successful webinar. So we price our service to keep it affordable for everyone. So this would normally be $147, but if you get it now with the Webinar Marketing Academy, okay, or if you're an alumni, by the way, you'll save $50 and you'll be able to get it for just $97. So those of you that are alumni, you can go ahead and jump in. Now we won't start the coaching until after I'm done the sessions, with the exception of alumni. So non-alumni, we won't coach you until we've already brought you through the whole course. But the alumni are the ones that we would start sooner than later. Okay, so for just $97, you'll get personalized service with you and one of our elves, so you can get the help you need to set up your own webinar. And I looked at some coaching, what other people were charging. One fella, he charges for social media coaching $2,000. So yeah, so there you go. So learn fast and get the shortcut to results. This is really what I feel coaching is all about. And let's see here. George says, it is the little things that really discourage you. And he says, it is great to be able to get the little questions answered. Yes, good point. It's like these little roadblocks that bug you that coaching kind of gets you to scoot by, isn't it? Morris says, I highly recommend it. Denise says, this is a steal. Thank you. Pat says, alumni pricing and dates not correct in back office. They should be. Marianne can message you about that. Maybe the alumni special prices isn't showing. Maybe try adding it to cart and seeing if the deal's on. I'm not sure. Marianne, can you help any of the alumni? Just speak up, folks. If you're alumni and you want in, we can make sure we get you set up so that you're paying the right price. Okay. Shackley distributors often suffer from the misconception. This is another final thing I want to talk about, and I'll let you go for tonight. And this is brand new. Never talked about this before. And after working with some keys and masters and other leaders, and also people that are trying to become directors, what I have found is that you guys tend to suffer from the misconception that to be successful in Shackley, you got to do everything yourself. Something that I also learned a long time ago was don't work in your business, work on your business. And who was it who said that? That is from, it's going to come to me, it's a tape series that I used to do. My mom and dad could throw that out there. We were just talking about that. Michael, someone, I think. So not only, are you guys the prospectors, but you're also customer support. You're the blogger. You're the operations manager. You're the online marketing manager, and so much more. And that would drive me crazy if I had to do all these things myself. I would run out of steam. I just wouldn't. And what I am noticing, remember how I said at the beginning, we've helped you guys get all these leads, but nobody's doing events. Well, why are they not doing events? It's because well, it takes someone to help you. It's not that easy. I don't put all these events on by myself. I have a team that helps me with all this. So I've been thinking for quite a while, how can I find a way to let you guys have a piece of that so that you are not just doing this all by yourself. It's really tiring to think of how many hats you guys have to wear. So why not focus on the things that you need to do and then let a virtual assistant do the hard work for you? And I know I got a spelling error there, hard word. Up until now, all we could do is teach you how to do things, right? So coaching is a little bit more about helping you get it done, but it's still partly coaching. But we just didn't have anything in place. where we could assign people to complete your tasks. We pretty much had to say, well, here's how to do it. Now go back on your own and you got to be the one to promote it, with the exception of 365. That's about the only service that we were able to offer where we run your Facebook ads, we do your page posting, but there's some serious, well, there's quite a few things that we cannot do for you, and I'm going to show you in a minute what those things are that a VA could do for you. So we're actually going to open up the beta version of our new Freedom VA service, and I'd like to invite you to join. So with our Freedom VA service, you'll discover the power of having a team of virtual assistants helping you run, support, and market your Shaklee business. You'll become more productive, more effective, more successful, and you won't be as tired at the end of the day. Ellen Reynolds, yes, you are on my list. So imagine the freedom when you can have an elf that is dedicated to helping you with all the things our 365 team or our sales and support team cannot do. Things like scheduling your emails, managing your inbox, deploying your blog posts, getting the right images for them, managing your YouTube account, and so much more. So who was it earlier who said that they didn't know how to do YouTube? Well, that's what a VA is for. So instead of you guys having to master all these things, it's nice to know them. You got to learn them. Trust me, you don't want a virtual assistant if you have no clue what all this stuff works, because that's part of how you can direct what you want done. So that's what I've done. I've learned how this stuff works, and then I pass it off to someone else. So I do not do any of the repetitive things at all. Okay? So here's how it's going to work. You sign up, you subscribe for a plan that fits your budget, then we'll help you create your task list for your virtual assistant, and then your VA gets to work, and then we will bill you for any extra hours given, if applicable. So I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. So what we're going to do is actually give you your own work portal in the same workspace that we use, where you can assign tasks and chat with your VA. You can see the files that they're putting in. You can upload your own files if you need them to do things. It gives you a workspace to work from. We'll work together to create a recurring task list your elf is responsible for in the hours that you've booked. And then your VA will do your tasks and log the hours in your portal so that you'll always know how many hours you're going to be billed for if it goes above and beyond your regular weekly minimum. Now, by the way, you don't actually have to have a minimum, but if you don't sign up for a minimum amount of hours, then you pay a little more per hour. So your VA will coordinate they will also coordinate any design and development work needed for your tasks. So let's say, for example, you want them to build a PowerPoint presentation that you don't want us to share. So it's just for you. Well, we will have to have our designers step in for that. Your VA will not be the one designing your PowerPoint, but they'll be the ones coordinating that, almost like a little mini project manager for you. So you may think you don't need a VA because you're not even sure what a VA could do for you. So here are just a few of the types of tasks that a VA could do. Blogging. So they could convert your text to blog posts. So remember when I was showing you guys what Tony and Phyllis have done for setting up? And as you can see, Tony and Phyllis's pages are still not complete, even though I showed them how to do it. And that's because a VA has not stepped in yet and done it for them. They can promote your blog posts in social spaces and email. They can organize your folders, images, and documents in your computer and internet, organize your browser's favorites, organize your content in OneNote. They can also call your customers to thank them for your order if we're using a voice, a VA with skills in voice work, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Who thinks that would be kind of handy? I don't know. Who would even be interested in that, where you had people phone your customers on a monthly basis or a certain amount of time to thank them for ordering or to let them know you've got a webinar coming out. They could mail or send out cards for you. They could call your group to let them know about events and specials. In email, they can schedule and send broadcasts. They can organize your inbox, plus a whole heck of a lot more. They can set up your events in your webinar platform, if it's Zoom or GoToWebinar, whatever you're using. They can have your text converted into PowerPoints. So if you've written a bunch of stuff and you do want someone else who's helping you with that, they can convert things like that. If they wouldn't be able to do design work, but they can do like encoding style work. They could design and deploy all your promotional assets or have it done, plus a whole lot more. They could upload videos to your YouTube account, have intros and outros made for your videos, and they could also manage your comments in YouTube, plus a whole lot more. They could also do all the things that our 365 team cannot do for you. They can post on your Facebook profile, manage your messages. You know, if you've got an inbox that's full of a lot of people saying stuff, they can go through it and then say, these are the 5 different messages you really got to get back to. These are important. These are business oriented. They're 5 days old, you know, little kick in the butt. They can send birthday greetings. It was funny because Ariella was sharing that I used to do birthday greetings, but now I have 1,500 friends and I don't do them anymore. And I'm like, well, you need a VA. And it's amazing how much exposure you get by posting an image on someone's timeline, wishing them a happy birthday. You get a ton of exposure from that. And, well, if you don't have a VA because you're overloaded, then you want someone doing that for you. They can post in your LinkedIn profile and in groups. They can greet people on your work or on their work anniversaries. They can post your presentations in SlideShare, again, plus a whole lot more. So if you join the beta program today, you'll get in on our intro pricing. Now, our Freedom VA service would normally cost from 12 to 15 bucks an hour, depending on how many hours you commit to. However, if you subscribe before the special ends on Wednesday, June 28th, you'll save and get in on the intro rate for just 10 bucks an hour. So we're limiting this to the first 10 people because we don't have a big giant stack of VAs hanging around at this point. We have to start small, who sign up for the offer. And super bundlers with 365 premium subscriptions will get priority. But we'll do our best to make sure that everybody gets taken care of. So here are the rates if you're wondering, like, how much is this going to cost? So I felt that this would be the most affordable for people, and that is it's a weekly rate. So basically you would be committing for a certain amount of hours per week, and then you'd pay out per week. So it would actually be just, you'd be signing up for a subscription and you'd be billed, so you don't have to think about it. And if, however, though, they do extra hours on top of that, then we'll just bill you for the difference. So if you commit, for example, for 1 hour per week, you'd be at 10 bucks a week. If you signed up for 4 hours a week, you'd be at $40 a week. Okay, so you'd have somebody working on your behalf to do all that stuff. So you have to keep in mind, obviously, if you're only doing 1 hour per week, you got to be, you know, you got to make the right call on what's the higher priority, because there's not a lot they can get done in 1 hour. Okay, and the beauty about this is you don't have to worry about finding the people. You don't have to worry about paying their Phil Health, their SSS, all the government stuff that you got to take care of. You don't have to worry about any of that. If you cut loose, you can, and you don't have to feel bad that you're terminating somebody. We will just transition their hours somewhere else. So there's just a ton of value that goes into this. I was talking to somebody who uses a VA right now, and this person pays their VA 65 bucks an hour. And that person requires a 10-hour a month commitment. So that's 650 bucks a month they have to pay. And where I got the idea really stuck in my brain last year, when somebody actually had hired a VA and they wanted me to train their VA. And I thought, okay, this is ridiculous. Why do I want to teach somebody's VA how to use our system? Because, you know, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not what I'm here for. So I felt, okay, you know, it's difficult for you guys to hire another VA because they have no clue how to use the Freedom Project. Whereas a VA we put on your behalf knows how to use our system because they live here and they're involved in this. They work out of this office. This is all they do. So it's really allowing somebody to say, okay, here's my Freedom Project. Here's all my tools that I need. I got to go to play hockey. You send this email. You set up this PowerPoint. See you later. So how's that for sweet? So you can get that if you're interested by going to myfreedomva.com. So for those of you that want someone to take the load off your shoulders, that's how you can do it. Now please note your VA cannot do design and coding tasks. So if you need those, they can assist in the deployment and coordination of those tasks, but they cannot actually, because they're not designers, right? So keep in mind design tasks and development tasks, like coding you a blog, for example. If you wanted us to build you a blog, that'd be different. So they're charged at a higher rate because they involve time skilled by skilled elves other than your VA. So we call your VA a general VA. So they can do encoding and uploading and basic things like that. But they're not graphic designers and they're not coders. So they can do essential tasks, and they'll also be your liaison between the different design and development teams here needed to get your work completed, but they don't do that. So if you need something coded or designed, they'll be the one to make sure it gets done on time. Okay? And our design and development rates range from 15 to 27 bucks an hour, depending on your Freedom Builder plan. So if you needed the page done, then your VA might be only 10 bucks an hour, but you need 2 hours of design, that'd be cost you 30 bucks. So, okay, so that's, so you won't get any shocks to your system. I wanted to make sure that was quite clear for you guys. So you could ask your VA or our support team for a quote on projects when needed. So thanks again for attending this class. I super appreciate you guys sticking with me to the very end. I hope you feel empowered to start using webinar marketing for your Shackley business. Here's how to get the recording. If you like this class, you want to see it again, or you want to share this with your downline, just go to the Training Center by going to yourfreedomproject.com, clicking on the Training Center link at the top, or log inside your back office, and you could click on the lower left to get to the Training Center. You can see upcoming events by going to the Training Center and clicking on the View Calendar, found right here. Now, if you are, this is all new to you, you just maybe want to peek around, why not take a test drive for 30 days? You don't have to spend any money at all, no commitments, no obligations, no credit cards, nothing. Just go to myfreedombuilder.com, take a test tour of the different lead capture websites we have. By the way, you'd also be able to get into our newsletter if you get your contacts in early enough, which, by the way, our newsletter is going out next week. So watch for it. We're going to be, it'll be ready in the queue for you on the end of today, am I right? So that would be tomorrow morning, sometime tomorrow afternoon for you guys, okay? So keep your eyes peeled out. The newsletter is going to be rocking and rolling. We're now doing the newsletter at the end of the month because we're giving you guys emails at the first 3 weeks. Each week we're giving you an email, and then we finally lead in with the newsletter as sort of a wrap-up of it all. And then you can view all of our products, as we have a lot of other services on top of this, from different courses, coaching, and other online tools and such. You can find them all here, again, by going to yourfreedomproject.com and just clicking the top link. You can friend me if you guys want. If you want to ask a question or you want to touch base, you can friend me by going to facebook.com/JodySteve, but please don't put in technical, don't send me your billing issues, or don't, send me your technical stuff. Don't tell me if you want to quit. That's not what I'm here for. You can talk to the elves about that. But I do like talking strategy. So join our Facebook groups. We've got 2 of them. One for giving you business tips at our main group here by going to Your Freedom Project 2. And then you can get free product posts by going to Discover Shackley. And by the way, you can actually find the links to all of our groups by going to our fan page. There's a link down on the side there that's called Groups. And now fan pages are connected to they're kind of like the master of all your groups now, which is neat. You can also post, or I'd love it if you post what you liked best and about this class, and just share with others what you learned about this session in our YFP main group. And it'll also help you to reconfirm in your own brain what it was you learned. You can follow us at any of our social spaces or join any of our groups here by looking at the footer in any of our websites, or on our, I should say, on our freedomproject.com website. And you can also look down on the footer and get contact details. Everything can be found there. Anywhere there's a question mark on a website, like you see here inside the back office, you can get access to the Help Center, or down in the lower left part of your back office. If you want to talk, post your phone number and the best time to reach you in the chat box here, and one of the friendly support elves will contact you. So say, call me Monday at 9 about XYZ issue. You can do that right now, or call us at 858-810-6655. The elves have gone home for now, but we can, well, Elaine is still there, so she could reach out to you quickly if you had an urgent issue or something like that. I can't actually guarantee she will. I don't know what she has already booked for today, but needless to say, that's how you can get in touch with us, okay? And there's the link. Go ahead and give them the link, Marianne, for the workbook. So thanks for sticking with us to the very end. There's your free gift for participating. I want to wish you the best. Enjoy your night, everybody. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.